Call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. Does anybody have any corrections or changes to the minutes?
No, I do not.
Make a motion to approve them as printed.
I second that motion.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. New business. Visitor from Marshall County. Tonight.
How's everyone doing?
Wonderful.
I think I know most of you, but some of you not. Chelsea Smith, and I'm here to talk to you about One Marshall County and to just kind of listen to you all as well. I only brought 4 copies for the 4 of you, I'm sorry, but I appreciate copies of what I brought as well. Can I give you a one-pager as well? Okay. So, I know Roger's familiar with what One Marshall County is. I don't know if anybody else in the room has heard of One Marshall County before. Know a little bit about it, but not enough to be dangerous to speak about it, maybe.
I brought up some of the things that pertain to us and what some of the other towns are doing. Yep.
Okay. So, One Marshall County was started in 2024 as just, if you remember Crossroads at all, as sort of the organization to take over what Crossroads was doing to help coordinate efforts. We are not the ones taking the charge in all of these things, but we are the ones trying to coordinate efforts between different services, not duplicating efforts, but just trying to make sure everybody's on the same page with different projects that are going on, how we can get funding for those projects and help facilitate. So what I gave you today is just a snapshot of who we are on this one pager, what we do. We have a 28-member board. I'm on the board. I'm treasurer right now. And then just some snapshots of what some of the current stats are in Marshall County. And then our priority focus areas. We all know that the county has some challenges facing them. A lot of it has to do with housing, education, workforce. I know you all have a water issue or challenge that you're facing. Quality of life, quality of place, those types of things. And so what we are doing now, we're not asking for funding. Hey, isn't that nice, right? We're just here to listen to you all and to find out what's going on. What are your challenges, other than I know we know water is one of them. And so we can kind of hear what you guys are facing, what we might be able to keep on our radar, things that we aren't thinking about, what we could do better. That's in a very nutshell of why I'm here. So.
All right. Thank you, Chelsea. Well, I guess we'll kind of explain that stuff as we go through our meeting. So,
sure.
You know, what we're looking at, what we've been able to accomplish, and what we're lacking on.
Okay, that sounds great.
Which is always more than what you've accomplished. All right.
Well,
Ma'am, you get the floor now.
I get the floor. Well, hi guys. It's been a while. How have you been?
Good.
Good. Well, if those maybe don't remember me, my name is Shannon McLeod, and I'm with Priority Project Resources. And I had the honor of working with the town in the past on trying to acquire some federal funding for various different projects, mainly through the Stellar Crossroad. We accomplished a couple of different things. We did that water study and some park improvements, and then we did a COPS grant that allowed you to hire an additional police officer, or replace one that you were lacking there at the time. And after those projects closed, Roger and I have emailed back and forth. There were some questions potentially about an EMS. There was an issues going on there, and there was some other things. And so I just said, well, it's been a few days since I've seen you all. So I thought I'd stop in and basically find out from you if you have any questions on any of the things that we've done. 2, if there's anything that you're looking at in the future and going, how do we get this funded or what have you. Just to kind of just checking in, basically. So that's really all. I'm here just to listen and answer questions, and we'll see what we can maybe accomplish.
Okay. Well, Shannon, so one of the things that is kind of on the forefront. I mean, we've done some improvements down at the park.
Yeah.
They've got quite a bit in there. I mean, we just paved this year.
Mhm.
We did the sidewalk project there on Michigan Road. That's looking good. Um, but we did have a little snafu at the end of the year where we had some money that came from Marshall County had given us to come in to do bathrooms. And we had voted on it prior to the end of the year, which
Right.
is what we needed to do to get going, but was told that because we didn't have all the signatures and everything in place that we had to send some monies back. And so what we really need to see is, do we have any hope of recouping those monies? We've got some other grants that as going towards the park, and some of those may be diverted into, it would still be the bathroom project, but maybe doing the electric, that we're doing the update to start onto that. So, and some of that comes from Marshall County also. So, you know, we're trying to get the bathrooms in there, to get that up.
Sure.
Would be our next phase, I think, for the park.
So
the
now
park
these were
improvement.
this was the ARP funds that the county got and then dispersed to the different, each community got a portion.
Correct.
You had a notice of award by the end of the year. That was signed, correct? And you executed your contract by the end of the year.
Right.
And it was the contractor that signed it after the first of the year.
Correct.
Well, did they have to have a performance bond and payment bond and all of that? How much was the project? Did you
85,000.
Something like that.
Okay, so if it was over 100,000, that's when they would have had to. Otherwise, they could just get certificate of liability and workman's comp. So they didn't have to have bonds on this. In turn, they signed it in January, February. What was the?
It was very beginning of January.
Quite honestly, I'm of the opinion that when you signed it, that was when the award was made. Because if you signed a notice of award prior to the end of the year, that should have locked those funds in. Now, the easy fix would have been just to have the, and people do that, to have the contractor backdate it to the same date that you signed. That would have been a clean, easy fix. I mean, the bottom line is, it's not necessarily when they sign, it's when you signed it. So, in the gateway reporting, you had indicated that you showed it as what was your balance of ARP funds at the time? Do you remember? And so did that, you basically showed then a negative of it going back,
Yeah.
but it's still in your checking.
To my knowledge, yes, it's around 43,000. But we reported that, you know, we didn't use or whatever, so it was free for them to take back. But I've done nothing with it, so.
Well, has anyone from the county contacted you?
No.
Has State Board of Accounts asked you about it?
No.
Quite honestly, I mean, when Roger had indicated that you gave the money back, I was like, well,
It's gone.
that is probably no saving. But I think that it could just be an administrative posting of what transpired and when, and I think that would clarify that. But have you talked with anyone at State Board of Accounts? Okay,
No.
so you haven't had conversations with them.
I have had an email conversation with them, and it's an automated email conversation with them. And so when you ask them, hey,
What do we do here?
Yeah,
Is this
it is
whatever?
automated and said if you didn't have it by December 31st, it's done. But it's very clearly an automated, like, send out. Nobody read my email and actually looked at
Well, at
my
least
question.
my understanding of, and that's the thing, is that I didn't deal with it. ARPs are, you know, they were a special funding that came through the corona. It's not necessarily a federal grant.
Right.
That's my world. But from the remaining communities that I work with, they were all scrambling to get things under contract by the end of the year. As long as that contract was executed by the end of the year, they went ahead and did their projects.
Okay.
So, I
So
think
contact State Board of Accounts and then get their blessing and go from there?
that's would be my advice.
Okay.
Is that I think that you need to explain to them, that you thought that the work not only had to be under contract but had to be started. But so that's why you got nervous and just and here's the thing, Jen. You're a new clerk. This is a big job. There's a lot of rules and regulations, and it takes a lot of time for a person to get up to speed to that. I mean, have you gone to the clerk's training?
I have went to some, yes.
And I mean, were there any discussions about it at those? So they didn't really discuss it. All right. Well, I wanted to first talk to you all to find out. So I have got a clerk treasurer who she's been a clerk treasurer for, I don't know, 20 some years. And she served on the on the Indiana board, and she's very, and she does private consulting work. So I want to reach out to her before you contact State Board of Accounts. Let me reach out to her because I was going to do that prior to this meeting, but I wanted to find out what we did, what we didn't do, because I was like, you wrote a check back, oh God, but then
Right.
Jen said, no, it's
Okay.
still there. So let me reach out to her first.
Okay.
Get her advice, and also she probably has a contact at State Board of Accounts that she would have a direct line to, that you could actually call or actually email versus it being an automated type of thing. Because you do need to have, and I think once it's explained to them and you can write it all, they're probably going to make you do some sort of memorandum of understanding which explains what happened, when it happened, how it occurred, why you reported it this way, and what have you. But I think if you submit that, your contract was executed, and you haven't voided that contract, have you?
No.
Well,
No, we voted to approve it, and that vote has stayed.
so you just haven't issued the notice to proceed simply because of not knowing.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Well, let me contact her first. I'll do that this coming week, and then I'll get back with you sometime midweek, and we'll go from there.
If you could copy both of us in on your response,
Sure.
that would be wonderful.
Can.
I'll
I
be on
can.
vacation starting next Thursday, so.
Well, good for you.
Yeah. And I do not take my town laptop and computer with me, so.
I get you. So that's that.
Okay.
Is there how's sewer utility? At one point in time, and then we got the community center, and I mean, has that building ever sold? The
That's it.
church?
Oh, yeah.
So it's sold, and
Oh, yeah, that's
somebody's
sold. Yep.
repurposed
Yep.
it?
It's a Hispanic church now, and
Okay.
very big congregation. A lot of things going on down there.
Well, that's great.
Yes, wonderful,
That's
absolutely.
good that it's going. So, how are we on sewer utility? I mean, are we in need of?
So, well.
It's been a couple of years since you've.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we definitely need it, but the problem is the price. We just can't put, a debt of $200 per household per month to pay for the project. And that included some of Lakeville of working with them to bring that into their project. And so, because they said they would not approve it for just the town, that it had to have more than one community that would help.
Did you have a preliminary engineering report done on that, like
Yep.
what we did on the water? So,
You're talking about the water.
Pardon?
You're talking about the water.
Yeah.
Yes, yep.
You brought up wastewater, didn't you?
yeah,
I'm sorry.
because
Oh,
I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
the water, we know that
Yeah. Okay,
your
I'm sorry.
population
Right.
and the cost of that, even if you partnered with Lakeville, and at that time there were tons of grants, but they were just saying that the population wasn't large enough,
Right.
and it's kind of put us in this little abyss. But you have an existing sanitary sewer system
Right.
that I know has got a little age on it, and
And so, we're going through, that's being all rebuilt now, so when Steve comes up, he'll be bringing up where we're at
well,
on
then
that,
maybe
so.
I can, so if there's any way, because there's grants out there, for that, to do improvements or to do a study or whatever you need. So maybe when you get to your section, I'll just listen and you can fill me in on that.
Okay, good.
So,
Good.
And then the EMS thing, that's already moved on and
Yes.
it's all under control too.
Yep, yep.
Okay, okay.
They hired the first firefighter EMTs, so
Well, good,
moving forward with that.
good.
Looks good. The old business, staying with the park bathrooms. So I did speak with the township and they have agreed to let us go ahead and use the existing bathrooms until we can get something up. Of course, they always want something in return, right? So in return, they would like us to go ahead and to waive the sewer charge as rent for those bathrooms. So I don't know legally if we can do that, or we say, okay, our rent is gonna be what you're gonna be paying us per month for the sewer, and we work it out that way.
Do it the second way,
The second way?
so that'll be easier.
All right, thank you, Tony. So, I will go ahead and reach back to the board and let them know that that's what we need to do. And then I make a motion, we go ahead and approve to go ahead and our rent will be the equivalent of what we're charging them for the monthly sewer bill.
I second that motion.
Any other discussion?
No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. That's what I thought, Tony. Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I think it'll look better on State Board of Accounts
Yes.
side of things, but it does make a little work and it's a waste of paper, but
Yes,
it's
it's,
the way you gotta do it.
right, gotcha, understand that. Anybody else have anything else on old bathroom, or old business rather?
I do not.
Police report.
Not a lot. The
Tony?
car is
Come on.
finally all put together. And then, sort of as a combination of talking about cameras at the car. And, Dan, you have anything that,
So we have the first camera up in the park. We couldn't, all the equipment is installed, but there was no power at the pavilion. So we could not get those cameras up and running yet, which there is power there now. Is that right?
Can be very quickly.
Okay. So once we have the power there, then we can tie into the junction box and power all our equipment, and then the cameras on that side of the park will be up and running. We did install a temporary camera pointing towards the bathrooms, which wasn't in the original quote, original bid for the cameras. That is basically watching part of what's going on towards the bathrooms. So we have that covered. That location wasn't originally covered in what we discussed. So once we get the power there and it's ready to go, we can come in and finish that up, and it'll be all done, ready to go.
that
So-
camera that you're speaking of is more than just watching the bathroom?
Yes,
so-
that camera that we have set up right now is actually a license plate reader camera, and it's actually capturing the license plate of everybody entering the park coming on the road on the west side. So anybody that drives through there, it's capturing their license plate.
And how much in addition is that camera?
So that camera runs about $600 instead of the ones that were $200 that we installed.
Okay.
So if we do decide to, add more cameras down the road for the added cost, you get a lot better features. It tells you when there's people, it tells you when there's cars, it gets the license plate number. So it's a much better camera if that's something that the town wants to do, is keep track of everybody coming in and out of there. So
The camera does a real good job of picking up license plates. It displays what it is.
Yeah, that picture you sent me was very, very impressive.
If we wanted to really incorporate that, you'd have to have at least the
4.
existing one, at least a couple more, maybe 3 more, to catch everybody coming and going.
just because there's 4 entrances into the park, so
Right.
it's easy for someone to snake around and not get seen.
What's the range, sorry if I can ask, what's the range of those cameras can read?
They'll read the license plate up to 30 or 30 feet away, I believe. So it's got a little bit of a distance to it. So,
Okay.
but it also tells us the what type of vehicle, the color of the vehicle. So if they don't have a license plate, we can still get some information on what actually drove past there.
I make a motion to go ahead and get one there for the pickleball courts in that area in there, so at least we've got some better coverage there.
I second that motion.
Any other discussion?
No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Anything else on police? So we had voted previous meeting, and Dan is under your wing, so you just go ahead and bring him on and have him work the hours that you deem necessary. So it's all on you.
What needs to be done administratively, like a liability carrier, that sort of stuff that people would normally think of. You have to notify.
So probably just
carrier.
insurance company, and then, of course, they'll want, run his driver's license and whatnot, so.
Yep, I have all that, so.
Tony, is there anything
Tony.
else that,
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. So, I mean, other than the normal HR stuff. So, yeah.
I have one that I was actually gonna add with, MVH, so we'll go ahead and go there. So we have for streets.
Real quick on the cameras, can we have a camera over off of the pole on Hudson Street facing into the playground? That's a plate reader. If we do one there, the one that's existing and the one by a gazebo will catch all the entrances to the park.
So the problem we have is we can only add cameras where we have the network going to.
Okay.
So, which is the pavilion and then the pole with the blue box. So if we wanna add a location that's not, and a camera that, somewhere that's not those two, then we have to add another wireless link up to get to that spot to add cameras.
Okay.
So, and, roughly $1,000 to do that network extension to get it to
So if
the
we,
spot.
you're talking about a camera on the other side for pickleball court, if we did it on our, where our H post is for our electric, that would catch that side of the park.
You're talking about on the east side, the new,
Yeah, it'd be the east
yeah.
side
The new
of the
panel?
park there on
Yeah.
that panel. If we had one there, that would catch that entrance of the park in and out, and then whatever Bruce has up here on the, on the west side.
Right.
So that would cover, I think, the whole pickleball area and the playground and pavilion.
We would actually have to extend the wireless network from the pavilion
Yeah.
over to there.
So we'll start with the one camera, and then we'll see where we go from
See
there.
how this one works. Power goes, I've been talking to Roger and Richie. I misunderstood the way it was going down there. We're gonna get a junction box in there. We need it hardwired. Where does it need to be
So,
hardwired to?
On the north side of the pavilion, we have a box up higher, up above, and
Okay.
that's where the power needs to get to. So we were gonna pull off of there was an outlet down there, we were gonna hardline a conduit down to it, right to that outlet and tie into it.
Okay, so I just
So-
need to get power to the pavilion,
Yes.
and then you can
As
do
long as that-
junction box it up
Yep.
to where you need it.
Yep. As long
Okay.
as that outlet has power to it and it's not turned off, then we can use that.
Okay, we can
So-
take care of that then. Bathrooms, we changed the locks, fixed a couple water lines that were broken there. Now we're having a problem with one of the urinals. Do we wanna replace it? What do we want to do since we're renting that?
What does it do?
Doesn't stop running at all. Yeah, I'm taking the guts apart.
You have taken it apart?
Yeah, it just.
Have
I
you got a
can't get-
rebuild kit for it yet, or not?
No, cause I didn't know what we wanted to do. I didn't know what, if we're replacing
Yeah.
them, if we're
I'd
doing
go ahead and
under
get a
that.
rebuild kit for that and try
Okay,
that first.
That's fine, but it just will not stop running.
Yeah.
We do have water back to the park. We had to fix a water line that was broke underground back there by the pavilion. That's from when the concession stands were taken out. We have water up to Washington Street. That's shut off right now, so kids don't play in the water faucet there. Other than that, everything's going good. Reeds and Riley came and redid the approachments that we had problems with after our sidewalk project. They're amazing. I checked them out the other day. I'm happy with them, so whatever you guys have to do on your end now. The sod, I believe it's time to be mowed. I haven't heard anything from the place that's taking care of it, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it mowed. And then, other than that, I think right now, everything's going decent.
We just need to pick out the trees so we can replace the trees that we had.
Yeah, we need to do that too. Is there a certain location? Prices is out of business, I guess. They don't do it anymore, so I don't know where else you want trees from, or what kind of trees you even want.
That's something we need to get somebody that does that, so that make sure we don't get something that's gonna
That's
grow
not
too
these.
big. It's, yeah, right. Let me work with, a couple different places and see
Yeah,
what I can come up
I'm
with
all
there.
about it. I just don't know
Right.
which direction to go with it.
I know the trees that they had said that it was very, very hard to get, and they were $1,000 a tree, so there's
Yeah.
something, it's gotta be comparable we can use out there.
I've got all the material for the storm drain to go in on Vandalia Street down by the Robertsons residence. I have that. Utilities are marked out. I believe today, someone was down there marking them. We're gonna start that soon. I think
Albert's ditch.
Albert's ditch, I've talked to Steve about that. As soon as we both have the spare time, we're gonna run down there and do that.
So what had happened, the pipe's coming up out of the ground, and Louis says, you're gonna start flooding basements unless you get it taken care of, and it's like, I don't know why it came out of the ground, it shouldn't have, but it did, so it.
I think it got hit by a sprayer and it popped up.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That's what I'm
really elevated, so, we gotta get that back buried. The other thing that we had, that I was gonna put on with the MVH is, cause we had talked about, the park and whatnot there. So, the well is there. We can come in and get the well turned on, but we would need to have basically a house that we're gonna set up that would have the tank and everything in it. And then we would have to, of course, drain it in the winter time and make sure it didn't freeze or anything else. I had Richie work with Montgomery, and he said that they do have, the berry tanks, that's basically gonna have a frost-free spigot that would stick out of the ground, that we wouldn't have to worry about that, and to get that well up and running and everything would be around $2,000 to $2,500. So that's a one-time shot and we're done with it, and we can then tie in, build the bathrooms, they can just tie in and run on over to it, and, we can get that up and going relatively quick. Make a motion, we go ahead and approve for Montgomery to do that.
Second that motion.
Any other discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
One other thing for MPH is a question, maybe I'd like to see if I can get it surveyed back there. I'm having some problems with Louis Albert. Claiming that he owns that land back there, and I know that he don't because I've measured it out. But he's saying that he owns it, I'm saying the town owns it, so we're having a battle back there of who's doing what.
So-
Last week he lit it on fire. I want to put it out because it's the right thing to do. Well, then we got in a little argument that it's his land and not our land, and I said it's my land, not your land. So I brought it to the board, and
Yeah,
I
so
need to have a
Tony, I'd
survey.
just like you to go ahead and do that, without, doing a survey, pull it up and say, hey, this is what we show, and go ahead and send him a letter.
Can you come talk to me after the meeting and show me
Absolutely.
exactly where the dispute is? So,
Also, pretty sure everybody's aware, I've mowed Eric Nolan's place. I actually mowed it again today. Sale's coming up, that's the last time I'm mowing it until it's sold. House appears to be empty, property seems to be vacant, so I think we have that issue under control. Other than that, that's all I have.
And then the McCartney house was, demolished.
McCartney
and
house was demolished. They just finished putting blacktop on it, or black soil on it again today. It's looking really good. I don't know what the plans are, but it's looking good.
Now he's gonna be putting that for sale sign there to see what he can sell the lot for. All right, sewer department.
That property you were just talking about, I witnessed the sewer being capped off, that's all capped off and sealed, so the tank is still in place, but it's, the pipe coming out is capped and good to go. At the plant, the clarifiers, the north tank, the first one we did, that was actually broke, is completely rebuilt, up and going, and working great. It's been going for about a week now, so haven't had any issues. I'm very happy with it. They're looking at coming back possibly next week, if not the week after, to start the other tank. Tearing it down, we have all the materials already on that, because we bought all the materials and you already okayed doing the labor on that, so they're gonna start on that. It'll take them approximately a month or a little less, because they gotta tear it all apart, send the wall mount bearing deals out to get rebuilt, basically. Those get all rebuilt with lead lining back in them and everything, really neat, and then reassembly will go on.
All right, so for, after the meeting, Shannon, can you get with Steve, and then we'll just kind of explain where we're at, and what we've done, and if there's any avenues that we can take.
Okay. Sounds good. I think that's really all I have then.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Open it up for patron comments.
Hi. Lorraine Dove. I'm here because I'm concerned about the way our town's looking at the north end. The weeds along the viaduct, the old Swifty gas station, there's weeds all along the first road there and everything, and that pile of rocks been there for well over a year.
Of course, course, that's out of town limits, so we have no control on that.
We have over the viaduct.
Yeah, we do the viaduct, but we
There
can't,
weeds
nothing
coming up
up
through
by
the
the old
sidewalks
Swifty.
and everything. I mean, it's just, when you come in from the north end going through town, it just looks so shabby. And I'm sorry, I just think that we should put on a better face for people coming through our town.
Agree.
And like I said, sidewalks looks terrible because there's weeds in all the cracks and everything. And then I was worried about all the people that have cars in their yards. They're just getting more and more people just putting the car in the yard and getting a new car, and another car's just sitting there. You get your tax dollars from license plates. If they're not plating those vehicles, town's losing tax dollars.
Right. And, yeah, we not only have that, we've got quite a few areas in town that we gotta do. The apartment there on Walnut Street, that is absolutely terrible with the weeds and everything up there and all the trash that accumulates out there. Trash cans sitting on a road that never get pulled back in.
Yeah, so why aren't we enforcing some of the ordinances that we passed?
Ordinances are being enforced. I'm not going heavy-handed. I go and talk to people and give them the opportunity to, and then if it needs to be ramped up, we can do that.
Yeah, well, there's a lot there on Indiana Lane that just doesn't mow. There, last I knew that people own that lot live in Bremen.
It was mowed. I
Was it?
talked to him while he was doing it. And I talked to him about that Suburban that's parked back there too. And he's promised me that it's going to be moved.
Well, there's a lot of cars just sitting around, so.
It's the same way with the bridge. We've weeded the bridge a million times. It's just, it grows back so fast. You can only do so many projects at once.
Well, hopefully with some of the big projects that we just finished up though, we'll be able to do that because it, you know, you do like to have, whether they're coming from the north or south.
Oh, I get it 100%. Like I said, we've been up there.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's seen us up there.
Yep. Okay. All right, everybody else good with patron comments? Attorney update.
So, I believe I sent you an email, on, I guess we call it Senate and Rule Act now, it's not Senate Rule 1 anymore. But essentially, I've had a chance to watch the AIM video. I don't know if you guys have that. I thought I included a link to it in my message, but, you should definitely watch that because there are some changes coming down the pike that are pretty serious. And everybody, frankly, is kind of wound up about it right now because we don't know exactly what the effect is going to be necessarily on the municipalities. But the way I understand it, Chelsea may actually know as much. Well, actually, no, you're not the trustee any longer. I'm sorry.
Nope.
I thought somebody else
Yeah.
here might know more than me,
Sure
but.
not.
Essentially, the issue, as I kind of dumb it down for myself, is that the state is really moving away from a property tax-based revenue system to an income tax-based one. We still have property taxes, but at some point in the next few years, they're going to change quite a bit in terms of what revenue is there. The interesting thing is you're going to hear a lot about writs. We've talked about them for specific purposes, like public safety was the big one. Those actually are all going away and they have to be redone. Some of this stuff, frankly, is still subject to change in the next few years too. There were issues that they raised at my conference for municipal attorneys that they said they were already in contact with legislators about tweaking things that they thought needed to be corrected, and they would be adjusted. But the biggest thing is your funding model is changing, but it's based on, I think, the dividing line, if I remember correctly, was communities over 3,500 in size versus communities that are under that amount. So that figure, I think, could come down. I doubt it comes down to the size of LaPaz. But essentially, it's going to put your revenues in the hands of the county to decide actually how much of it you get. There's a certain portion that would come from LaPaz, but the county can actually retain a portion of it and not give the entire amount over to the town. Now, Marshall County has suggesting that they're gonna do, anything nefarious here at all, that's not what I'm saying, but, some of the decision on it is not exactly in your hands. So that's kind of the thing that alarmed me when I looked at the materials I got from this conference, when I was trying to look at it from the town's perspective. So there's still a lot to do. My understanding is that the Indiana Department of Revenue has never, they can show revenue like per county, but they've never actually broken out, tax revenue by municipality before. So that's kind of important data now under this structure, and nobody has it. So, I know I mentioned it to Roger in a conversation that you're seeing a lot of folks go to Baker Tilly or somebody like that and say, can you help us do revenue projections? Some of them have come in. Baker Tilly did one for Plymouth just recently. It was in the news to the extent that you could, to the extent that they could, based on the data they have. Without that tax data from the Department of Revenue, everything's pretty speculative at this point. So I'm not sure exactly how the town should handle that, to be honest. It's probably worth getting in touch with Baker Tilly, and I think the response is going to be, yeah, you and everybody else is looking for the same information.
But I think it's, they need to get the final bill before Baker Tilly can really tell us what's going on.
Well, I mean, it's done. I think there are going to be at least a few small tweaks from what I understood, in upcoming sessions. But, the biggest thing that came out of it, and this doesn't affect LaPaz, but you're going to see essentially municipalities are going to have, larger municipalities are all going to pass a lid of their own to replace the tax revenue that was lost from that. The town of LaPaz doesn't get to do that because they're too small effectively.
So the governor was on Channel 57, and he had mentioned that you can see up to $300 reduction in property taxes per year, and I think it was 1934 that they'd be replacing the majority of that property tax with the sales tax.
I don't know.
So where's everybody gonna get that money from if they're pulling that much away from the property tax?
That's the concern, is how much of a hit. And I just think the winds are trending in that direction. If you looked at the bill, or at least what came out of the legislature this year, the previous business personal property tax exemption, like my office equipment and stuff, was $80,000. That's jumped up to $2 million now. So that's all personal property that's not generating tax. And essentially what the bill did was they took some of those things away, but then they created new taxes that the legislature doesn't impose, that either the counties or the municipalities impose. So you're going to see a lot of people saying, wait, where is this new tax coming from? And it's because it's supposed to be the replacement mechanism for what it entails. The problem is LaPaz doesn't have access to that. Your income is basically, it's coming into the county, and the county basically, as I understand it, would decide how much, and this comes through to you, they can keep, I think, up to 75% of it. And again, I'm not saying Marshall County has said how they're going to handle that, but it does, I mean, that's literally everybody but Plymouth and Bremen is in that category, because it's every other community other than those two is less than 3,500 people. So I think everybody's just right now trying to understand what it looks like. The only other thing that was notable was someone asked, how does this affect the schools? And they said it's so much worse. So it's a little tougher for some of the other entities, but there's some big changes coming down the pike, and as soon as I think that data, I don't know if it's going to be released, but there's got to be some way to start to project these things and what it actually looks like. So we just got to keep our ears to the ground, I guess, and when you start to see that coming out. If you want any of the materials that I have, I'm happy to send them to you. If you need the link to watch the video that AIM put out, was actually, I think, done just a couple so some of the information that I had, I thought was a little different than, from that video, so I'll send you as much as what you'd like to see. It was just a slideshow from, they had an attorney, somebody from AIM, somebody from Barnes and Thornburg, and somebody from Baker Tilly, I think, so they had as much knowledge, but there's still just a lot up in the air, and I just know the companies like Baker Tilly that are normally doing these calculations, I don't think they have enough information to be able to start to actually tell you this is what kind of revenue you're gonna see from it.
Right.
So
Be dependent upon what the county does, right?
that, well, and I assume there's gonna be some discussion, but there's a lot going on with the wheel tax. I think they made it harder to not have one of those. Marshall County doesn't have it. And they're not required to have it, but it makes it harder to access some of those funds. One of, I do believe your CCMG match
Exactly.
amount is
Yep.
lower, because you're a community that's too small to have a wheel tax. You have to have at least 5,000 people to put one in. But if you are able to put a wheel tax in, they made it hard to not do one. It's kind of hard to say no to it
Yeah.
anymore.
Now, with 80% of our funding for what we're doing, you know, is through CCMG, it's like, yeah, it's something we definitely can't lose.
Yeah.
Roads would go downhill real fast without it. All right. Did you have an ordinance that we needed for the park donation?
Did we do the first reading at the
Yes.
last meeting? Yeah,
Mhm.
so the only question I had about that, Jen, was do you have the fund number assigned to it?
I do not.
Okay,
If you walk me through how to get that, I certainly can though.
okay. Do you have money that needs to be deposited into this fund right now?
No.
No.
Okay, why don't we actually just put a pin in it till the next
Okay,
meeting?
that's fine.
Because to be honest, the fund numbers are something, it's a bit of a mystery to me too,
Okay.
to be honest, so, but
Okay.
we'll be able to find our way through it.
All right. You good then?
Yep, I think I
All
am.
right, thank you, Tony, appreciate it. Make a motion to go ahead and approve APVs 5350 through 5398 for $343.18 from June 13th to July 11th.
Second that motion.
Any other discussion?
Nope.
No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Clerk update.
Don't have anything.
All right. Well, make a motion to adjourn at 6:43.
Second that motion.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.